Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Śrī Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamhayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, thank you very much for your kind association. We are reading from Śrī Caitanya Bhāgavata by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, chapter 13 of the Ādi Khaṇḍa, verse number 172 onwards. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking to Keshav Kashmiri after Keshav Kashmiri surrenders to Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Shunadvijavara tumi mahabhagyavan saraswati jahara jivhaya adhishtan. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Keshav Kashmiri, listen, O best of the Brahmans, Dvijavara, tumi mahabhagyavan. You are very fortunate. Why? Saraswati jahara jivhaya adhishtan. Because Shri Saraswati Devi resides on your tongue. Digvijay kariba vidyar karya nahe, Ishware bhajile se vidya satya kahe, manadiya bujadeha chadiya chalile, dhanava paurusha sange kichu nahi chale. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking very important siddhanta, philosophical truths here. So please listen carefully. Digvijay kariba vidyara karya nahe. Conquering the world and becoming Digvijay. Vijay means to win and Dig means different directions. To conquer all directions is called Digvijay. Digvijay kariba vidyara karya nahe. To conquer all the directions and to become the number one scholar is not the proper use of knowledge. Vidyara karya nahe. Ishware bhajile se hi vidya satya kahe. So what is real vidya? The purpose of knowledge is to Ishware bhajile, is to worship Bhagwan. The purpose of knowledge is to serve Krishna, to understand Krishna and worship Krishna. Man mana bhav mad bhakto mad yaji nam namaskuru. Manadiya bhuja deha chhadiya chalile dhana va paurusha sange kichu nahi chale. Try to understand. Manadiya bhuja means try to understand. When one gives up his body, he cannot take his wealth and reputation with him. Dhana means wealth, and paurusha means physical ability, agility, our skill sets that we have. Nothing we can take, nor our reputation. We cannot take with us. Deha chhadiya chalile dhanava paurusha sange kichu na chale. They don't go with us to the next world. There is a very beautiful verse which says that after death, our wife can accompany us till the door. Because in the traditional Hindu society, women don't go to the Samshan Ghat, to the crematorium. So one's wife can accompany us till the door of the house. Friends and relatives can accompany us till the crematorium. Our children, our sons, our brothers. And the body, this whole body for which we do so much, can accompany us till the funeral pyre. Wife till the door of the house, family members and relatives till the crematorium, and the body till the funeral pyre. But it is only our karma that goes with the soul to the next life. So Mahaprabhu is teaching the Digvijay Pandit Keshav Kashmiri that none of these things can go with us. Verse 175. Ete ke mahanta sabha sarva parihari karena Ishwara seva dridha chitta kari. That is why devotees renounce material endeavors and serve the Supreme Lord with firm determination. Therefore, the thing that really matters is Krishna Bhakti. And therefore, sincere devotees, they give up everything and they just worship Krishna. That is why devotees spend their time worshipping Krishna. Ete ke chhadiya vipra sakala janjal Śrī Krishna charana giya bhajaha sakal. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is giving such wonderful instructions. Through Keshav Kashmiri, he is giving these instructions to all of us. What is the instruction? Therefore, O Brahman, give up all materialistic association. Ete ke chhadiya vipra sakala janjal. Chhadiya janjal. Give up all this materialistic association and Śrī Krishna charana giya bhajaha sakal. Immediately begin to worship the lotus feet of Krishna. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada writes in the purport, that is why, so Mahaprabhu is telling, that is why you should give up the desire for external material advancement and begin to worship the lotus feet of Shri Radha, Shri Govinda, without wasting a moment. Verse 177. Yavat marana nahi upasannahaya tavat sevaha Krishna kariya nishchaya. Up to the time of your death, serve Krishna with confidence. Kariya nishchaya. With determination and confidence till your life, last moment. Yavat marana nahi upasannahaya tavat sevaha Krishna kariya nishchaya. Till your last breath, worship Krishna. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes, one who rejects the worship of Krishna cannot properly explain the purport of Vedanta philosophy, one of the 6 branches of philosophy. Being initiated into all these instructions, the compiler of Krama Dipika instructed his disciples, headed by Gangalya Bhatta about the process of worshipping Radha Govinda. Later on, Keshav and other scholars of Kashmir left the subordination of Sriman Mahaprabhu and took to another path. Turning away from the mercy of Sriman Mahaprabhu, Keshav Kashmiri and other so-called followers of the Shri Nimbarka Sampradaya, as well as so-called scholars of the Shri Vallabha Sampradaya, rejected the most beneficial and pure lotus feet of Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the worshipable Lord of the compiler of Kramadipika, and took to another path. Both Shri Sanatan Goswami and Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami understood Keshavacharya, the compiler of Kramadipika, as a recipient of Sriman Mahaprabhu's mercy, and therefore they collected material from his book in their compilation of Gaudiya Vaishnava Smriti, that is Hari Bhakti Vilas. Later on, the followers of Keshav Kashmiri gave up the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu and attempted to establish their own independent sampradaya. Hare Krishna. Verse 178 and 79. Sei se vidyara phala jani ho nischay Krishna pada padme jadi chitta vittare maha upadesha ei kahilu tomare sabe Vishnu bhakti satya ananta samsare. Very beautiful instructions. Know without doubt that the goal of knowledge is to fix one's mind on Krishna's lotus feet. Krishna's lotus feet. We have to fix our mind on Krishna's lotus feet. Manmana. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhyacha. The best advice that I can give you is that devotional service to the Supreme Lord Vishnu is the only substantial truth throughout all the worlds. Yena kena prakarena manah Krishna niveshaye. Smartavya sadatam Vishnu. Vismartana najatuchit. Know without doubt the goal of knowledge is to fix one's mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. I was talking to one devotee and he was giving very nice instruction. Please listen carefully. How to chant our 16 rounds in the morning. He said, whoever your Ishtadev is, whether it is Radha Govinda, whether it is Gaur Nitai, Radha Raman, Radha Shyam Sundar, whoever your Ishtadev is, you keep a photograph of your Ishtadev. Okay? And you chant the first 2 rounds looking at and meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna as Krishna is standing in his Tribhanga form. 2 rounds you chant looking at and meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna. Then you go to his knees and thighs. You go to his waist and his navel. You go to his chest and his arms and his flute. You go to his beautiful face, his curly blackish locks of hair, his sweet smile, his beautiful earrings. And finally, last 2 rounds, you meditate on his beautiful lotus eyes and especially his eyebrows. Because it is mentioned in our Shastra that one who meditates on the eyebrows of Krishna, which are like bows, then the bow of Kamadev doesn't work. Then Kandarp or Cupid cannot agitate. Lust goes away. Material desires go away. By meditating on the lotus eyes of Krishna, especially his beautiful eyebrows. And then you repeat the same thing for Srimati Radharani. Meditate on the lotus feet of Radharani. Meditate on the beautiful hands of Srimati Radharani. On beautiful face of Srimati Radharani. And finally, culminate with the beautiful eyes of Srimati Radharani. In this way, we should chant our 16 rounds, looking at Radha Govinda, looking at Radha Ras Bihari, looking at Radha Raman, our Ishtadev, Radha Madan Mohan, like that. Isn't it a nice meditation to have a picture of your Ishtadev in front of you? Or best to sit in front of them and chant. So like that. Verse 180. Etabali Mahaprabhu santoshita haya alingana karilena dvijere dhariya. After saying this, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Keshav Kashmiri. He embraced the Brahman in great satisfaction. Santoshita haya alingana karila. Paya Vaikuntha Nayakera Alingan Viprera Haila Sarva Bandha Vimochan. Being embraced by Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, who is Vaikuntha Nayak, is the Lord of Vaikuntha. the Brahmana was freed of all material bondage. Viprera haila sarva bandha vimochan. Sarva bandha vimochan. He became free from all bondages. Prabhu bole viprasabha dambha parihari bhajagiya Krishna sarva bhute daya kari. Then Shri Nimai Pandit, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, "O Brahman, give up your false pride and worship Krishna and be merciful to all living entities. Ye kichu tomare kahi lena saraswati se sakala kichu na kahiba kaha prati." What Saraswati Devi told you in confidence should not be told to anyone. Remember, Saraswati Devi appeared to Keshav Kashmir and told him that this Nimai Pandit, the scholar of grammar, Vyakaran teacher, who defeated you on the bank of Ganga, is none other than my worshipable Lord, the Supreme Lord, Gaura Narayan. So this don't reveal to anybody, Mahaprabhu told. Whatever Saraswati told you, keep it confidential. Ye kiju tomare kahilena Saraswati se sakala kichuna kahiba kaha prati. Vedya guiha kahile haya paramayukshay paraloke taram manda janiha nischay. If one discloses topics that are more confidential than those of the Vedas, then know for certain that his duration of life is diminished and his advancement in the next life will be checked. It is very important. We should not reveal things that are beyond our understanding. We have to be very careful. We should resist that temptation. We have to be careful what we speak. We may have the adhikar, but if the audience do not have the adhikar, then we should not speak. There were some impersonalists sitting in the assembly when Sri Shukdev Goswami was speaking, and therefore he was also very careful in how much he revealed. Once Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was giving a class. I think it was in Allahabad. And some new people had come, and some of them were scholars of the Vedas. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave a class on Radha Krishna Tattva. And after the class, during question answers, one very well-read person challenged Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada and said, if Srimati Radharani is supreme, according to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimati Radharani is supreme, today in our Chidadahi festival, during Prabhupada's Smaranam, one Prabhupada disciple shared a very nice pastime. Does anyone know what is the name of the deities that Srila Prabhupada established? Radha Krishna deities that Srila Prabhupada established in Detroit? Who knows the name of the Radha Krishna deities of Detroit that Srila Prabhupada established? Srila Prabhupada installed. Someone has put. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. Amarendra Prabhu is correcting me. Not Detroit, but Chicago.
Kishore Kishori.
Huh?
Kishore Kishori.
Yes, very good. Kishore Kishori.
Prabhuji, I didn't correct. Personally, I didn't remember the names of the Detroit temple. I only remembered Chicago temple. So I just put the name of the deities that I remembered.
Actually, I was not there in the temple when this pastime was narrated. Amarendra Prabhu only told me this pastime today. So I'm very grateful to him. But anyway, Chicago temple. So this Prabhupada disciple, he was narrating this very beautiful pastime. He said, I was there when Srila Prabhupada installed the Radha Krishna deities, Kishore Kishori, Shri Kishore Kishori. So I asked a question to Srila Prabhupada, very sweet question. He asked that Srila Prabhupada, in Brooklyn, New York, you established Radha Govinda. In Vrindavan, Radha Shyam Sundar. In Mumbai, Radha Ras Bihari. In Shri Mayapur Dham, Radha Madhav. So everywhere, Srila Prabhupada, you have established Radha Krishna deities. And Radharani's name comes first. Why in Chicago, Radharani's name comes after Krishna? It is not Kishori Kishori, it is Kishore Kishori. Krishna's name is coming first, Radharani's name is coming next. So why Radharani's name is coming after Krishna? Why Radharani's name is coming last? So Srila Prabhupada chuckled And he replied that I have kept the best for the last. In English, there is a proverb, keep the best for the last. So if a meal is served and there is bangan ki sabji, there is puri, there is aloo ki sabji, there is rice, there is dal. If it is Chirayu Prabhu's house, there will be, what is that roll called? It looks like dhokla.
Handvi.
Handvi or khandvi. So that is there. And then there is sweet rice. There is sweet rice. So we will eat everything. And then Devati Mataji will ask, Prabhuji, you didn't like sweet rice? Why are you not having sweet rice? Then the guest will say, Mataji, I'm keeping the best for the last. Keeping the sweet dish for the last. Right? Like that. So Srila Prabhupada said that yes, it is Kishori. Because the best person, they have kept the best for the last. So Srimati Radharani is the best. So why were we saying this? Yes. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was questioned that if Srimati Radharani is the supreme, then why did Krishna leave her? Because in Srimad Bhagavatam it is described that Srimati Radharani was crying in separation from Krishna when the Sakhis found her. And Srimati Radharani narrates that she was with Krishna, but then Krishna suddenly disappeared and she cannot see Krishna anymore. And Srimati Radharani is crying in separation from Krishna. So this so-called learned scholar asked Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, if Srimati Radharani is supreme, then why Krishna left her during the Ras Leela? Now Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted to glorify Srimati Radharani, wanted to explain the deep tattva of Vipralamba Bhav, of the Mahabhav of Srimati Radharani, Madanakya Mahabhav of Srimati Radharani, that she experiences, Srimati Radharani experiences in separation from Krishna. But how will this fool understand? He's asking in such a challenging spirit. How can I speak Shri Radha Tattva in front of this fool? You never keep a necklace of rare pearls in front of a monkey. He will not know what to do. He'll simply chew it and break it. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada, was torn. I want to glorify my Radharani. I want to explain and justify the position of Srimati Radharani. But this audience is not ready. So being torn in his heart, in his tender heart, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur fainted. He went unconscious. He fainted in ecstasy. It's a true story. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But he would not speak about Srimati Radharani in front of those who were not qualified. And Maharaj Parikshit warned Srila Shukdev Goswami in Srimad Bhagavatam. Our acharyas explain. When the Ras Leela was about to be discussed, Srila Shukdev Goswami was questioned by Maharaj Parikshit that how Krishna can dance with the wives of other people in the middle of the night. Isn't this dharma vyatikraman? Isn't this breaching of dharma? Then immediately Srila Shukdev Goswami got the hint from Parikshit Maharaj. Of course, this was not a question in Shri Parikshit's heart. It was a question in the hearts of all these, some of the rishis and impersonalists, Brahmavadi philosophers who like to meditate on Brahman. They don't have entrance into Vrajras. They are not qualified to hear Vrajras. So Parikshit Maharaj very carefully hinted to Srila Shukdev Goswami. So Shukdev Goswami was very guarded in the description of the Ras Leela. And he quickly finished it in few chapters. Otherwise, the Ras Leela would have gone for 12 cantos. It is so deep. What to speak of other Leelas, other Nikunja Leela. Srila Shukdev Goswami can describe everything. So like that. So one has to be very careful. We should not reveal more than what will please Krishna. Whatever we speak for the pleasure of Krishna. So Veda Guhya Kahile Haya Paramayukshay Paraloke Taramanda Janiha Nischay. If one discloses topics that are more confidential than the Vedas, and Mahaprabhu's activities are more confidential than the Vedas. It is the most confidential knowledge. Where Srimad Bhagavatam concludes, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's Gaur Leela starts. So one should not disclose. Paya Prabhura Agya Sei Vipravar Prabhure Kariya Danda Pranama Vastar. So Mahaprabhu's Leela can be disclosed only by those who are specifically empowered by Mahaprabhu. Like Srila Sarup Damodar Goswami, Like Srila Nityananda Prabhu empowered Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami empowered Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. So such empowered acharyas can reveal, but not otherwise. So Keshav Kashmiri was forbidden from revealing. So after receiving these instructions, Keshav Kashmiri offered repeated obeisances to Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Puna Puna Pada Padma Kariya Vandana Mahakritya Kritya Hai Chalila Brahmana. Then after offering repeated obeisances to Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the Brahman departed in great satisfaction. Prabhura Adnyaya Bhakti Virakti Vidnyan Seikshane Vipradehe Haila Adhishtan. Upon receiving the instructions of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, renunciation, knowledge, and devotional service immediately manifested in the body of the Brahman. This is the mercy of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. We get bhakti, we get virakti, and we get vidya. Vairagya vidya, nija bhakti yoga, 3 things. So they came automatically to Keshav Kashmiri. In the purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada writes, I want to read a previous purport also. If one reveals the confidential meaning of a mantra, he is not actually benefited in this world. Please listen carefully. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada is writing in purport to verse 184. If one reveals the confidential meaning of a mantra, he is not actually benefited in this world. Rather, the speaker only gains a shortened lifespan for endeavoring to reveal the mystery. So we have to be careful, my dear friend. We should only speak what we are empowered to speak, what we have been authorized to speak. We should speak that much. If one reveals the purport of the most confidential Vedic mantras to faithless persons, it's a namaprad. Then those unfortunate persons will misuse the purport of the mantras by preaching mundane, baula, sahajiya, and smartha philosophies as the path of devotional service. Therefore, even the mistake of accepting an unqualified disciple yields adverse results. And the praman, the proof for this, is the Ādi Khaṇḍa, the Śrī Caitanya of Śrī Caitanya Bhāgavata, last chapter, about Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Shri Pundarik Vidyanidhi coming to Shri Jagannath Puri. The reason Shri Pundarik Vidyanidhi came to Shri Jagannath Puri, one of the reasons, is because his disciple, Shri Gadādhara Pandit, was in great distress. What was the cause of distress? Shri Gadādhara Pandit had given Diksha mantra to a person who fell down, and he left the shelter of Gadādhara Pandit. And since that happened, Shri Gadādhara Pandit was feeling great dissatisfaction in his heart, and he could not focus on the mantra. Shri Gadādhara Pandit explains to Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu that he was able to constantly chant his Diksha mantra, Nirantar, constantly. But since that disciple had fallen down and left, Shri Gadādhara Pandit said that I am not able to remember my mantra, I am not able to chant my mantra constantly. It's producing great distress to me. So Mahaprabhu, can you please chant the mantra in my right ear, please? And Mahaprabhu said, no, I am not your guru. Your guru is Shri Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He's like my father. It would be an offense on my part to speak the mantra to you. Just wait. Within 10 days, Pundarik Vidyanidhi will come to Nilachal Dham. And in fact, on the 10th day, Pundarik Vidyanidhi came and spoke the mantra again in the right ear of Gadādhara Pandit. And Gadādhara Pandit became very happy after that. So if one, here same principle, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada is saying, therefore, even the mistake of accepting an unqualified disciple yields adverse results for the spiritual master. So we have to be very careful. Our spiritual master, our Gurudev, has kindly accepted us as disciples. Now we should not prove to our Guru Maharaj that they have made a mistake by accepting us. It is our responsibility, it is our duty that we try to be Sad Shishya, we try to be good disciples by trying to go deep in our practice of Krishna consciousness through Nam Bhajan and through Satsang. If we remain in regular Satsang, we will be protected and we will march along. It is said that every Hare Krishna Mahamantra that we chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We are moving 1 inch closer to our destination. Every Hare Krishna that we are chanting, we are moving 1 inch closer to our destination. But remember, our destination is Golok Vrindavan. That also the Nikunjas of Golok Vrindavan. So very far, very lofty goal. But with each Hare Krishna that we are chanting, each Hare Krishna Mahamantra we are chanting, we are moving 1 inch closer. 1 inch closer, 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 closer. So you have to keep chanting. Now, if we chant in a prayerful mood, with humility, then the accelerator pedal will be pushed down 1 inch. And the speed with which we are approaching our destination will increase. And there are some acharyas, like Srimad Ayendra Prabhu, they really push down on the gas pedal. Zoom, they went in one lifetime from ball dancing to Ras Leela dancing. So choice is ours. Are we going to press on the brake to decelerate our progress, to stop and impede our progress? Or are we going to surrender, Sharanagati, and really press down on the gas pedal so that we zoom towards our destination? The choice is ours. So let us chant in a way that our chanting is most effective. And chanting is effective to the degree Krishna is pleased with us. So therefore, every breath we take, every moment we live, we have to live in a way that Krishna is pleased with us. Whatever we do, the way we interact with devotees, the way we spend our time when we are alone, when nobody is watching, what are the thoughts? What are we listening to? Are we keeping in satsang? Are we chanting Harinam? Are we thinking of Krishna? What plans we are making? What is our ambition? What is our motivation? All these are important things. If our motivations are pure, if our ambition is pure devotional service, Uttama Bhakti, then Krishna will be pleased with us. If Krishna is pleased with us, every Hare Krishna Mahamantra will take us so much closer to Krishna. We will make spiritual advancement by leaps and bounds. So this attitude is also very key. Purport to verse 187 by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Receiving the mercy of Shri Gaura Sundar, Digvijay Shri Keshav Bhatta became completely successful. He offered his obeisances to Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, knowing them to be the source of all auspiciousness. Being empowered by the Lord, Keshav Bhatta simultaneously achieved great qualities such as service to the Lord, realization of the absolute truth, and detachment from activities not related to the Lord. Though he was initiated in the Vaishnava line, his descendants later on became bereft of Shri Gaura's mercy. This pastime of converting the non-devotee Keshav Bhatta into a devotee is most confidential, because up to that point, Shri Gaura Sundar had not yet bestowed mercy on anyone in the world to advance in devotional service. Isn't it? This is the first time Mahaprabhu is giving Krishna Bhakti Upadesh. He's giving instructions about Krishna Bhakti, devotional service. The process of devotional service that Keshav Bhatta achieved by receiving mercy from the lotus feet of Shri Gaura is being respected by his followers even today. Verse 188. Kotha gela brahmanera digvijay dambha trina haite adhik haila vipra namra. The Digvijay's pride was immediately destroyed, and he became more humble than a blade of grass. Trina haite adhika haila vipra namra. He became namra. He became humble more than a blade of grass. Purport. Keshav Bhatta gave up his pride as Digvijay and was initiated by the Lord into the Trinadapi Sunichena verse. Hare Krishna. Hasti Ghoda Dola Dhana Yateka Sambhar Patrasata Kariya Sarva Swa Apanar Chalilena Digvijay Haya Asanga Henamata Shri Gauranga Sundarera Ranga. Shri Keshav Bhatta then gave up in charity to all suitable persons all his elephants, all his horses, palanquins, wealth, and whatever other assets he had. In this way, the Digvijay continued his travels as a detached person. Digvijay Haya Asanga. He gave up all association and became detached. Hena Mate Shri Gauranga Sundarera Ranga. Such are the pastimes of Shri Gaura Sundar. That a proud Pandit like this Keshav Bhatta also became Trinadapi Sunichena. Such a pure devotee. Tahana kripar e swabhavika dharma rajyapada chadi kare bhikshukera karma. The natural characteristics of his mercy, Shri Gaura's mercy, is that a person renounces even the position of a king to take the position of a mendicant. Maharaj Prataprudra was willing to become a bhikari, a beggar, if Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu did not accept him. This is the mood of a pure devotee. Shri Sita left the palace of Ayodhya to live like a Vanvasini with Shri Ramchandra. Gaurangera Bhaktagana Vairagya Pradhan Yaha Dekhi Pritahaya Gaura Bhagavan. Mahaprabhur Bhaktagana Vairagya Pradhan. The devotees of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are Vairagya Pradhan. They demonstrate great detachment. Yaha Dekhi Pritahaya. And Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu Pritahaya. He becomes very happy seeing the renunciation of his devotees. Gaura Bhagavan. Mahaprabhur Bhaktagana Vairagya Pradhan Yaha Dekhi Pritahaya Gaura Bhagavan. Mahaprabhu is very happy when his devotees detach themselves from sense gratification. The natural characteristics of Mahaprabhu's mercy is that a person renounces even the position of a king to take the position of a beggar. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes, the devotees of Shri Gaura Sundar actually follow in the footsteps by giving up their name and fame to accept the role of beggars, Tridandi sannyasis. In other words, they give up the pride of Kshatriyas and Vaishyas and become established in Brahminical principles. The Gaura Nagaris and other Apasampradayas, like the householder Baulas, transform ingredients meant for the service of Shri Gaura Sundar into items for their own enjoyment. Such endeavors are extremely averse to devotional service of Shri Gaura. Kali Yuge Tarasakshi Shri Dabi Rakhas Rajyapada Chadi Jara Aranya Vilas. Hari Hari. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Mahasaya is suddenly remembering our Rupa Goswami. He's saying that Mahaprabhu's mercy is such that even a king would renounce his kingdom and agree to become a beggar. Such is the sweetness, such is the higher taste of Gaura Prem. Kali Yuge Tara Sakshi Shrida Bi Rakhas Rajyapada Chadi Jara Aranya Vilas. The prime example in this Kali Yuga of this fact that Mahaprabhu Bhaktagana Vairagya Pradhan is Shri Dabir Khas. Sakar Malik is Sanatan Goswami. Dabir Khas is our Rupa Goswami, who left a kingdom to live in the forest. Purport. One should discuss the following verse from Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita, Antelila 6.22, 6.220. Renunciation is the basic principle sustaining the lives of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees. Seeing this renunciation, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is extremely satisfied. Same verse. Mahaprabhu Bhaktagana Vairagya Pradhan. Yaha dekhe. Pritahaya. Gaura Bhagavan. Shri Dabir Khas gave up his previously worldly name and accepted the name Shri Rupa Goswami given by Shri Gaura Sundar. This is the prime example of undergoing the third of the 5 samskaras required for initiated Vaishnavas. The words Aranya Vilas refer to residing in the forest of Vrindavan. One of the names of Krishna is Aranya Vihari. Krishna, who likes to enjoy his pastimes in the forests of Vrindavan. Vrindaranya. Vrindaranya. The forest of Vrindavan. While residing in Vrindavan in this way, there are no desires for enjoying material sense gratification like the Sahajiyas. Krishna Prema, Krishna Bhakti, Seva Pravartan, Lupta Tirtha Uddhara Ar, Vairagya Shikshan. These are the instructions of Mahaprabhu to the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. Ye vibhava nimitta jagate kamya kare, paya o Krishna dasa taha parihare. Even when Krishna's servants obtain that for which everyone in the world works hard for, they easily give it up. The world may work very hard for high position, prestige, money, comfort, luxuries, beautiful spouse, this, that. But the devotees of Gauranga Mahaprabhu give up that. What is the example of giving up the most beautiful wife for the service of Shri Gaura? Shri Raghunath Das Goswami. Shri Raghunath Das Goswami. तावत राज्यादि पद सुख करिमाने भक्ति सुख महिमा यावत नाहि जाने. One finds happiness in kingly opulences only when he does not know the glorious happiness derived from devotional service. So unless one has a higher taste, one will be stuck in the lower taste. That is a fact. It is described in Bhakti Ratnakar. Very poignant description. When Srila Srinivasa Acharya came to Sri Nilachal Dham to study Srimad Bhagavatam from Śrī Gadādhara Pandit, for a few days he stayed with Śrī Gadādhara Pandit at Tota Gopinath and learnt some Srimad Bhagavatam. During those few days, Śrī Gadādhara Pandit advised Srila Srinivasa Acharya to go and take darshan of the other devotees who were still living in Sri Jagannath Puri. Specifically, Sri Gadādhara Pandit advised Srila Srinivasa Acharya to meet and get the association of Sri Ramananda Rai. You see, Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami almost immediately left this world. After Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu disappeared, Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami also left this world. But Srila Ramananda Rai stayed for some time. So Srila Srinivasa Acharya asked Sri Gadādhara Pandit, where can I find Sri Ramananda Rai? You know what Sri Gadādhara Pandit told him? That Ramananda Rai is constantly in the association of Sri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Please go to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and there you will see Ramananda Rai. So Srila Srinivasa Acharya went to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and there he saw Sri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Sri Ramananda Rai sitting and embracing each other and sobbing and crying and weeping and shedding rivers of tears in separation from Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And the only pacifier to their broken hearts was Gaura Katha, Gaura Nam. And Ramananda Rai was speaking Gaura Katha to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was listening. At that time, in a corner, Srila Srinivasa Acharya saw Maharaj Pratap Rudra. He was sitting in a corner on the floor and listening to the painful words of Sri Ramananda Rai as he was describing the glorious pastimes and activities of Mahaprabhu to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And then Srila Srinivasa Acharya came to know that as soon as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu had left this world, Maharaj Pratap Rudra had resigned as the king. I was the king only so I could facilitate Mahaprabhu's service. But now Mahaprabhu is not there. What is the use of me being the king? Immediately he gave the kingdom to his son and he retired, only to be in the association of great devotees like Sri Ramananda Rai and Shri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and hear Gaur Katha from them. So this is what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur are saying, that the devotees of Mahaprabhu, they are not attached to any material wealth, luxuries and comforts. They are only attached to service of Shri Gaura. One finds happiness in kingly opulence only when it does not know the glorious happiness derived from Gaura Seva, devotional service. Rajyadi sukhera katha se thakuka dure, moksha sukha alpamane Krishna anuchare. Moksha sukha alpamane. This is one of the characteristics of pure devotional service, as explained by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. What is that? Moksha laghu karati, something like that. Anyone knows? It is one of the characteristics of pure devotional service, that it makes the happiness of liberation to be insignificant. Insignificant. When the inclination for serving the Supreme Lord is awakened in the hearts of pure devotees, they think that the four goals of human life, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, are simply cheating. Kaitava dharma. Simply cheating. Ishwarera shubha drishti vina kichu nahe, ataiva ishwara bhajana vede kahe. Nothing is obtained without the mercy of the merciful glance of Krishna. Therefore, the Vedas enjoin one to worship the Supreme Lord. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Muda Mate. And in the purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is quoting many verses. One from Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Yasya Deve Para Bhaktir, Yatha Deve Tatha Guru, Tasyaite Kachita Hi Artha, Prakashante Mahatmana. Shri Madhvacharya also quotes in his commentary, when he quotes from Vedanta Sutra 3.3.53. Bhaktir evainam nayati, bhaktir evainam darshayati, bhakti vasha purusho, bhaktir eva bhuyasi. Bhakti leads the living entity to Bhagwan and enables him to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhaktir evainam darshayati. The Lord is controlled by Bhakti. Bhakti vasha purusho. And bhaktir eva bhuyasi. Bhakti is the best. Hena mate digvijay paila mochana, hena gaura sundarera adbhuta kathana. The Digvijay was just delivered in this way from the material life. Such are the wonderful narrations of Shri Gaura Sundar. Digvijay jini lena Shri Gaura Sundare, shuni lena iha saba nadiya nagare. Now, soon everyone in Navadvip heard the news that Shri Gaura Sundar had defeated the Digvijay Pandit. Sakala lokera haila mahascharya jnyan, nimai pandita haya mahavidyavan. People were astonished. And they said, Nimai Pandit is a great scholar. Our Nimai Pandit is a great scholar. Digvijay Hariya Chalila Yaratai Etabada Pandita Kota Shuninai. He has defeated the Digvijay Pandit. The famous Digvijay Pandit has been defeated by our Nimai. We have never heard of such a scholar as Nimai. Sarthaka Karena Garva Nimai Pandita Ebese Tahana Vidya Haila Vidita. The pride of Shri Nimai Pandit is justified, and now his reputation has spread. Keha bole e brahmana jodi nyay pade bhattacharya hayatabe kathana nanode. Someone said, if this Nimai studies logic, he will certainly become a bhattacharya. Keha keha bole bhai mili sarvajane badi simha balipada vidibhatane. Someone else said, oh brother, let us all together award him the title Badi Simha. Purport. Badi Simha is the name of one Vaishnava from the line of Shri Ramanuja Charya. He was like a lion. Badi Simha. He was like a lion in destroying the philosophy of monism, impersonalism. It is to be understood that previously, whenever a scholar defeated another scholar, he was awarded a title Badi Simha. Hena se tahana oti maya rabbadai eta dekhiya o jani bare shakti nai. Yet even after seeing all this, the influence of Nimai's illusory energy is such that people did not understand him. Even after this defeating Digvijay Pandit, nobody could understand that he is the Lord of Saraswati Devi. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ei mata sarva nava dvipe sarva jane prabhura satkirti sabe ghoshe sarva gane. In this way, everyone in Navadvip broadcast the pure glories of Śrī Gaurasundar. Navadvipa vasira charane namaskar aisa kala leela dekhi bare shakti jar. I love these verses. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, in his typical style, every chapter he concludes like this. He's saying, Navadvipa vasira charane namaskar aisa kala leela dekhi bare shakti jar. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the residents of Sri Navadvip Dham. Why? Esakala Lila Dekhi Bhare Shakti Jar. Because they had the Shakti to witness these pastimes that we are reading about, that we are talking about. Imagine the students of Sri Nimai Pandit who saw the deliverance of Keshav Kashmiri. Purport. Sri Gaurasundar enacted his pastimes in Sri Navadvip Mayapur. The author, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, offers his obeisances to all the fortunate souls who had the opportunity to see Sri Gaurasundar's pastimes during his manifestation, and those who later on saw those pastimes in their hearts. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada is saying it is possible to see the pastimes in the heart, my dear friends. Please listen very carefully. There is a sadhu in Sri Vrindavan Dham. He is completely akinchan. He has nothing. He sits on the bank of Yamuna and just always worshipping Radhe Shyam in his heart. Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam. And he does Ashtakaliya Leela Smaran. He is awake 24 hours a day and constantly doing Ashtakaliya Seva. Ashtakaliya Seva in his mind, Manasi Seva. Sitting on the bank of Yamuna. And when it is time for Radha Krishna to eat, he takes some Vrajraj from the bank of Yamuna. He makes it into a pile and he says, this is Sandesh. This is rice, dal and sabji. Radhe Shyam, please eat. His eyes are closed and in bhav, he's offering in his mind. Please eat this, please eat this, please eat this. Please have faith, my dear friends. Another sadhu went to him and asked him, what are you doing? You're sitting with all these small heaps of Rajraj in front of you every day. And you're sitting and doing like, what are you doing? So he explained, oh, this is not just Rajraj. This is Sandesh. This is rice. This is sabji. This is bhajia. This is papad. This is pickle. This is scented water. Like that he was explaining. And then this sadhu said, really, this is just imagination or really it is like that? He said, no, really, you can taste. You can taste it. And he gave this sadhu a little bit to taste. Taste little Sandesh today. And he took that Rajraj and he put it in his mouth. And the sadhu was saying, it actually tasted like Sandesh Barfi. Actually had that taste of Sandesh. He said, I actually experienced it. How can I tell this scientifically, explain it scientifically? He said, I took it. It had the flavor of Sandesh. Then I told him, can I have some rice? He says, yes, this is Radhe Shyam's rice. They just ate it. Take their remnants. He said, I took little Rajraj and it tasted just like rice. He said, I offered obeisance to that sadhu. And I left. I said, oh, so Vrindavan is filled with such Siddha Babas who have attained perfection, Siddhi, in their bhajan. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is saying that there are devotees who saw these pastimes in their heart also. So the Leela is going on in their heart. He thus teaches humility and modesty. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is saying that Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, through this verse, is teaching us humility and modesty by setting the ideal example of subordination to the Vaishnavas. We should always be subordinate. Ye shunaye gaurangera digvijay jay kotha o tahana para bhavan nahi hai. Whoever hears the topics of Lord Gauranga defeating the Digvijay Pandit is never defeated anywhere. And we don't want to be defeated by Maya, that which is not. We don't want to be. That is the only fear we have, that we should not forget Krishna. We should not leave the path of Krishna consciousness. That is the only fear we have, a devotee has. And Srila Vrindavan Thakur is assuring us that anyone who studies this pastime of Digvijay Pandit being defeated by Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu will never be defeated in life. The devotees of the Lord who are expert in ascertaining the transcendental nature of the Lord discuss the pastimes of the Digvijay's defeat by the omnipotent Sri Gaura Sundar and thus engage in the worship of Sri Gaura. Therefore, the inferior logicians can never defeat them in any way. Those whose resource is humility, based on material knowledge, glorify material arguments and fame, obtained through such arguments. Yet, since they are situated on an extremely low platform, the Lord's devotees who are inclined towards service of Gauranga Mahaprabhu can easily understand the deceitfulness of their material knowledge, which is another form of nascence. Vidya Vadhu Jivanam, the husband of transcendental knowledge, that is Harinam Sankirtan. And thus they become enthusiastic to worship Sri Gaura. Vidya Rasa Gaurangera Ati Manohara Ihaje Ishune Haya Tara Anuchara. Very beautiful verse. Second last verse for today. We're almost done. Vidya Rasa Gaurangera Ati Manohara. The pastime of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu are very enchanting to the heart. Ihaje Shunehaya Tara Anuchara. And anyone who hears Gaur Lila will for sure become a servant of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chandajan Vrindavana Dasa Tachu Pada Yugegan. Accepting Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Shri Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das Thakur, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus ends this English translation of the Gaudiya Bhashya commentary on Śrī Caitanya Bhāgavata, Ādi Khaṇḍa, chapter 13, entitled Defeating the Digvijay. And Krishna willing, Nitai willing, next Sunday we'll start chapter 14. The Lord's travel to East Bengal and the disappearance of Srimati Lakshmi Priya Devi. I think it is this chapter where the Hare Krishna Mahamantra comes in Chaitanya Bhagavata. Very important. Yes, in this chapter, verse number 145. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ei shloka nama boli laya mahamantra, shola naam 32 akshara, ei tantra, sadhite sadhite jabe, premankur habe, sadhya sadhana tatva, janiba se tabe, prabhura shri mukhe shiksha shuni vipravar, puna puna pranama karaye bahutar. Very beautiful. So this Mahamantra is going to come in this chapter. Okay. So we'll stop here and I thank you all very much for your kind association and my sincere thanks to my dear friend Muktasanga Prabhu for keeping me engaged in the reading of Śrī Caitanya Bhāgavata. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
So our Ramsham Prabhu has shared something. Kleshagni Shubhadha Moksha Laghuta Krit. Moksha Laghuta Krit. That is a characteristic of pure devotee. Thank you, Prabhu. Kleshagni Shubhada Moksha Laghuta Krit. Moksha Laghuta Krit. Pure devotional service, Uttama Bhakti, makes the pleasure of moksha, laghu, appear very small, and it is sudurlabha, very rare. Sandrananda Visheshatma Shri Krishna Karshini Chasa. Shri Rupa Goswami has described so beautifully that devotional service attracts Krishna. Krishna Karshini. Thank you, Prabhu. And Amarendra Prabhu has shared very beautiful. Dhanani bhumau pashavascha goshthe. Dhanani bhumau pashavascha goshthe. Nari gruhadware sakha samahane. Dehas chitayam paraloka marge. Dharmanugo gacchati jiva ekaha. Oh, this is from the Rig Veda. Dhanani bhumau pashavascha goshthe. Our wealth sometimes follows us only till bhumau. In those days, there were no banks. So people would bury They would bury their wealth in the ground and they would die sometime, just sudden heart attack, stroke, and the money remains buried underground. So our wealth follows us till where? Till the place where we have kept it. Bank or the treasure where we have buried the treasure underground. Dhanani bhumau pashavascha goshthe. And our horses and cows and all the animals, where do they follow us till after death? Only till the cowshed, not beyond that. Nari grihadware. And our wife only till the grihadwar, till the door. Dhanani bhumau pashavascha goshthe nari grihadware sakha samashane. And our sakhas, our friends can come to the samshan, to the crematorium. Dehas chitayam paraloka marge. Dehas chitayam. This deha, sharir, can come till the chita, the funeral pyre. Dehas chitayam paraloka marge dharma nugo gacchati jiva ekaha. And it is only our dharma that decides where we go and comes with us in the paralok, in the next life. It comes with us, our dharma. So thank you, Amarendra Prabhu. Wealth will remain buried, cattle remain in the pen, wife will accompany to the doorway, friends will accompany to the crematorium, body will come to the funeral pyre, but on the path to the next world, the jiva goes alone. Dharmanugo gacchati jiva ekaha. The jiva goes alone. Jiva goes alone. So therefore, we should not be attached to our wealth, our property. So here, Pashu Goshthe refers to our cars, our Toyota and Honda and all these cars that we have. They will remain in the garage. Our Goshthe is the garage. 2-car garage, 3-car garage. So we should not be attached to our animals, our cars, friends, this body. For this body, we do so much. We lie, beg, borrow, steal for the sake of the pleasures of this body. But this body itself is going to cheat us. We want to enjoy, but the body will drop dead one day, my dear friends. Just today, believe it or not, today we have wonderful Chidadahi festival. And today, I had to give the bad news to 2 of my patients that they have metastatic cancer. I have seen somehow even these diseases, they come in bunches. Like some week I will just see lung cancer. Then some weeks suddenly I will see liver cancer. Some weeks stroke patients. Somehow it happens like that. Today 2 patients with stage 4 cancer were diagnosed. So we have to give the bad news that your time is finished. Time is running out. So our body will cheat us. Now they have so many plans. One patient told me that I want to get my granddaughter married. But in America, the marriage dates are fixed way in advance. They have to plan everything and make reservations and booking and everything. So this person is getting married in November. And this patient is asking me, will I live till November? And she has very advanced cancer. So she desperately wants to be there for the wedding of her granddaughter. She's very close to the granddaughter. The granddaughter also had come. She also crying. I want my mother to be there in November. I said, I don't know. You pray. I don't know. And so this body, we have so many desires from this body. This body will support us. But sometimes someday the body is going to cheat us and say, it's like a car. The car will just stop working. No matter how much we put the key in the ignition, the car will not start only. And no mechanic will be able to revive it. Mechanics are like the doctors. The car is like the body. And we are like the driver. We want this car. Come on, come on. I have a warranty. The car is totaled. The car is totaled. It will not work. Our body is going to cheat us, my dear friends. It will just stop working. And there's nothing we can do to fix it. Irreparable damage. So like that. So we should have all these understandings and we should surrender to Krishna and focus our life in Krishna consciousness. That is the real wealth. Okay. So I will stop here. We'll quickly go through the Mukta Sangha Prabhu and then Ajinkya Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Just have a clarification. I know you told us before that this Keshava Bhatta is the same as Keshava Kashmir Prabhu?
So, Prabhu, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives two opinions, and he has given both opinions. One opinion is that he was Keshav Kashmiri, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes. If you, Muktasanga Prabhu, you have Chaitanya Bhagavat?
Yes, Prabhu, I have.
So go to verse number 19, chapter 13, verse number 19, 1-9. In the purport, Kale taha eka mahadigbijay aila parama ahankara yukta hai. So this Digvijay, Saraswati Thakur writes, some people say that Mahadigvijay refers to Keshav Kashmiri or Keshav Bhatt, the disciple of Gangalya Bhatt. So this Keshav Kashmiri and Keshav Bhatt are the two names for the same person.
Oh, yeah.
Like Abhay Deshmukh or Ādi Gadādhara Dāsa. Two names for same person. So that or is there.
Yes.
So like that.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So Murali or Mukta Sangha, like that. Same person. Some people say that this Maha Digvijay refers to Keshav Kashmiri or Keshav Bhatta, the disciple of Gangalya Bhatta. This Keshav Kashmiri or Keshav Bhatta was a disciple of Gangalya Bhatta of the Śrī Nimbarkacharya Sampradaya.
Yeah. Got it, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So, Ajinkya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the.
Prabhu, I read your message. So, yes. Yes, call me.
Oh, okay, Prabhuji. So, actually, I wanted to ask, you were mentioning that we should chant with humility. So, what does that actually means? How should we chant with humility? What should we think while chanting?
Humility, chanting with humility means to understand that I have no other shelter. I have no other recourse. I have nothing else. Only the holy name. Shripad Ayendar Prabhu explains what is the meaning of chanting with humility. Shripad Ayendar Prabhu, when he's explaining the verse Trinadapi Sunichena, explains that Trinadapi Sunichena means to understand that nothing else will work except chanting of the holy name. Meditation will not work for me. Deity worship will not work for me. Performing fire sacrifices will not work for me. No other sadhana will work for me. I am completely surrendering to Nam, to the holy name of Krishna. I have not seen Krishna. I cannot talk to Krishna. I cannot touch Krishna. I cannot smell Krishna. I cannot hear Krishna. But I have got Krishna Nam. Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis. I have got Krishna Nam. Krishna Nam is all powerful, just like Krishna. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinnatva Nama Namini. There is no difference between Krishna and Krishna Nam. And the only thing I have is Krishna Nam. It is Krishna Nam that will come with me wherever I go. I may be in the operation theater, in the operating room, where no friend can come with me. I may be in the ICU where no one can come with me. But Krishna Nam can come with me. Krishna Nam is there everywhere with me. Whether I'm alone or whether I'm in a crowd, Krishna Nam is so merciful. It's always there with me. To have this understanding that I have no shelter but the holy name. I am most fallen. I have no ruchi, no anurag for the holy name. Durdaiva midrisham ihajani na anuraga. When this feeling comes, that Krishna is very merciful, the name is all powerful, Nija Sarva Shakti, Etadrishi Tava Kripa, Bhagavan Mamapi. Krishna is very merciful, he has given me Krishna Nam, which is all powerful. But I have no anurag, I have no taste to chant and take shelter of this holy name. Durdaiva, it is my misfortune. Durdaiva midrisham ihajani na anurag. I don't have any anurag. When this feeling comes, then immediately next verse is what? Ajinkya Prabhu? After na anurag, what comes in Shikshashtakam? After the second verse? Yes. So immediately Trinadapi Sunichena comes. When this feeling comes, that Krishna, your name is all powerful, you are very merciful, you have given me the name, but I don't have any taste. So to understand that I have no other shelter other than the name, I am very fallen, but still Krishna has given me this Divya Ratna of Harinam. This Divya Ratna. What is that verse in Kevalashtakam? That Kachartham Vismritam Ratna Harer Nama Eva Kevalam. Kachartham Vismrita Ratna. Wanting a broken piece of glass, Vismrita Ratna. I have forgotten this divine jewel of holy name. That is my condition. To understand this, then immediately humility comes. Trinadapi Sunichara. So to chant with humility means to understand that holy name is all powerful. Krishna has come in the form of Krishna Nam. Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. Nama Haite Haya Sarva Jagata Nistar. But I have no taste. So Krishna, let me exclusively take shelter of your holy name. Exclusively take shelter of your holy name. That gives us humility. I have nothing else. As long as we feel there is something else I can do. Aho dukkham maha dukkha 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 taramyata. Kachartam vismritam ratna harer nama eva kevalam. Thank you, Ananya. Aho dukkham maha dukkham. It is such a tragedy. Dukkha dukkha taramyata. This is the greatest tragedy. What? Kachartam vismritam ratna. For a piece of glass, we have forgotten this great jewel of Harinam. This gives humility. Is that okay, Ajinkya Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. That was very helpful. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, after this call, can I call you? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Parima Mataji and then Gagan Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for this wonderful class. Prabhuji, I had this question that I hope, first of all, I'm begging forgiveness if, I'm not asking the right question, but it still came to my mind, and so I'm taking the liberty to ask you. Prabhuji, after attaining the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, after knowing who Mahaprabhu is, or at least getting an idea of who Mahaprabhu is, how did those people who once came under the shelter of Mahaprabhu give up his shelter and establish their own sampradayas? This is kind of, and they still attain Krishna. At least that's what, I've heard. So, I mean, what do you say to that?
One aspect of humility means to admit that I cannot understand everything. If we can understand everything, every question that arises, if we can have a logical, convincing answer for everything, that means we are abhidnya. We are all knowing. We are sarvadnya. But only Krishna is sarvadnya. So Krishna Leela is adbhut. Krishna Leela is very adbhut. It's very wonderful and very astonishing and very divine. And we cannot understand everything. How after having darshan of Mahaprabhu, after surrendering to Mahaprabhu, how Kala Krishna Das can leave the association of Mahaprabhu? He was the only servant Mahaprabhu had.
Yes.
And he's seeing Mahaprabhu's dancing for 4 months in the house of Venkat Bhatta in Sri Rangam. He's seeing Mahaprabhu deliver so many people. The leper, Vasudev, the Kurma Brahman, this pastime, that pastime. He is the only witness. And he's leaving the service of Mahaprabhu to enjoy with some women. Think about it. How is it possible? How is it possible? So we cannot understand. We can give so many reasons that he didn't have association. Maya is very strong. Yeah, but ultimately we cannot understand. All the two names of two acharyas that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentioned in the purport, Shripad Vallabhacharya and the acharyas in Sri Nimbarkacharya Sampradaya. Very great souls. And like you rightly said, they attend Krishna. But it appears that they started their own sampradaya after receiving the mercy of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. How is that? The only way I understand it is that this is the desire of Mahaprabhu. Okay. This is the divine desire of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, because Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna is Rasaraj, and he enjoys different variety of rasa. So he wants to taste the unique rasa of Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, of Shripad Vallabhacharya, Pushti Marg. He wants to taste the rasa of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. He wants to taste the rasa of the Kumar Sampradaya, Shri Nimbarkacharya Sampradaya, Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Yugal Mantra. So Krishna and Radharani, they enjoy different variety. They don't like khichdi every day. So they like their chappan bhog, different varieties. So this is the only way I can understand it. But otherwise, the activities of great devotees, they are inconceivable. Pura sab Bhagavata hi kahe, Vaishnava kriya mitra bhugya na bhujaye. Even Bigya, even a very learned person cannot understand the activities of a devotee. Why Shripad Shankaracharya came and spoke such blasphemy of Srila Vyasadeva and of Shri Krishna by saying that all these forms are illusion? Inconceivable. Only explanation is this is ultimately the desire of Krishna. Tara Ichha Balavan. When Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada writes in his bhajan that by your desire everybody comes under the influence of illusion, and by your desire everyone can be delivered. I will show you that verse one second. You know that verse? Srila Prabhupada writes in Jalduta. Garima Mataji?
No, Prabhuji, I haven't, by hearted that verse. Maybe I must have come across it.
I will show you. It's a very nice verse. One second. You can see my screen now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So we go to Prabhupada Lilamrit. We go to the second volume. No, first volume. Prabhupada Lilamrit. I think it is the first volume. So, is it Markine Bhagavata? Let's try this. No, it is the other one. Markine Bhagavad Dharma. See, Srila Prabhupada writes this. Look at this verse. You can see I'm highlighting it.
Yes.
Srila Prabhupada says, Tomaro ichhaya sab hoye maya vasha, Tomaro ichhaya nasha mayara parasha. All living entities have come under the control of illusory energy by your will. Haribol. By your will. And Jaiva Dharma confirms this. In Jaiva Dharma, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes this. It is Krishna's will. And therefore, I'm not able to read. And therefore, if you like, by your will, they can also be released from the clutches of illusion. You see this?
Yes.
So what we can understand from this is, it must be Krishna's desire. By Krishna's desire, all this happens. Okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much for this answer. I mean, yes, Prabhuji, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Gagan Mataji?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। प्रभु जी, मेरा एक बड़ा स्टूपिड सा क्वेश्चन है, बट मुझे ये आपसे पूछना था कि जब आप श्रीला प्रभुपाद जी को एड्रेस करते हो, आप कहते हो ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य, है ना? और मैं भागवतम में पढ़ रही थी कि संन्यास की 4 स्टेजेस हैं और उसमें परमहंस इज द टॉप मोस्ट स्टेज, है ना? तो फिर हम प्रभुपाद जी को दोनों के बुलाते हैं, परमहंस एंड परिव्राजकाचार्य। सो दैट्स ऑल आई वांटेड टू अंडरस्टैंड।
बहुत सुंदर,
थैंक यू सो मच।
बहुत सुंदर प्रश्न है आपका। सो जो परिव्राजकाचार्य जो है, जैसे आप जानते हो, वो सबसे सर्वोत्तम स्टेज है सन्यासी का। सर्वोत्तम, उत्तम अधिकारी को परमहंस कहते हैं। लेकिन जैसे हम जानते हैं कि कभी कभी उत्तम अधिकारी जो है, उत्तम अधिकारी प्रचार नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि उत्तम अधिकारी सब में भगवत भाव करते हैं। सब भगवान ही है, सब प्रभु ही है, और सब प्रभु की ही लीला है, सब प्रभु की ही इच्छा है। ये जो है सब में भगवान को देखना, यो माम पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वम च मे पश्यति तस्याम न प्रणश्यामि सच मे न प्रणश्यति, ये जो है, ये उत्तम अधिकारी, महाभागवत, परमहंस वैष्णव की दृष्टि है। सब में भगवत भाव करते हैं वो। तो जो सभी में भगवान देख रहे हैं, वो प्रचार नहीं कर सकते। तो जो परमहंस है, वो परमहंस के पदवी से नीचे आते हैं परिव्राजकाचार्य के पदवी पर, और प्रचार करने के लिए, क्योंकि भगवान की इच्छा है प्रचार हो। पृथ्वी च नगर आदि ग्राम सर्वत्र प्रचार होइबे मोरा नाम। श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने ऐसा कहा है। श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की इच्छा है कि हम प्रचार करें। जारे देखो तारे कहो कृष्ण उपदेश, आमार आज्ञा गुरु है तारे देश। तो महाप्रभु की इच्छा पूरी करने के लिए परमहंस वैष्णव प्रचारक बनते हैं और भ्रमण करते हैं। उन्हें कहते हैं परिव्राजकाचार्य। आचार्य है और परिव्राजकाचार्य, व्रज करना अर्थात इधर उधर जाना, भ्रमण करना। तो भ्रमण करते हैं, प्रचार करते हैं, परमहंस के लेवल से एक लेवल नीचे आकर प्रचार करते हैं, और फिर से उनके अंत्य लीला में सब कुछ छोड़कर वृंदावन चले जाते हैं, और कार्तिक के मास में वहां पर बिल्कुल भगवान का स्मरण करते हुए, हरि नाम लेते हुए, सराउंडेड बाय ऑल लविंग डिसाइपल्स, नित्य लीला में प्रवेश कर लेते हैं श्रील प्रभुपाद जी। तो इसीलिए, क्योंकि श्रील प्रभुपाद जी परमहंस के स्तर से परिव्राजकाचार्य बने और अपने गुरु महाराज और श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की इच्छा पूर्ण करने के लिए उन्होंने प्रचार किया, और फिर से वृंदावन धाम आ गए। और जो प्रभुपाद जी के अंतिम कुछ महीने थे श्री वृंदावन धाम में, उन महीनों में श्रील प्रभुपाद जी ने परमहंस का जो स्वरूप है वो दर्शित किया, ऐसा। तो इसीलिए ये परिव्राजकाचार्य बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि यदि श्रील प्रभुपाद परिव्राजकाचार्य नहीं बनते तो हमारा उद्धार किसने किया होता, है ना। इसीलिए परिव्राजकाचार्य ये जो पदवी है ये हमारे लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है, सभी भक्तों के लिए। जो परमहंस है वे परिव्राजकाचार्य बने। ठीक है माता।
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That makes perfect sense. Thank you so much.
हरे कृष्ण, दंडवत प्रणाम, हरे कृष्ण। तो ठीक है मुक्त गुरु, वी कैन स्टॉप।
Yes, Prabhu.
थैंक यू वेरी मच। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
आदि गदाधर प्रभु की
जय। दिव्या माता जी, यू कैन आस्क लेटर ऑन, यू कैन कॉल। थैंक यू श्रील प्रभुपाद जय।
Jai.
राधे राधे।